Tonight, as you close your eyes and slowly drift toward sleep, something extraordinary is about to happen. Your bedroom will remain perfectly still. Your body will begin to relax. But inside your head, nearly 86 billion neurons will continue working through the night, creating one of the most complex performances in the known universe. Every memory you've made, every emotion you've felt, every face you've ever recognized, every sound you've ever heard, will quietly become part of an invisible journey that unfolds while you sleep. For thousands of years, people believed dreams were messages from gods. Others believed they revealed the future. Some thought they were visits to another world. Today, science tells a different story. A story even more fascinating than myth, because every single night, your brain transforms into a world unlike anything you experience while awake. A place where time bends, memories merge, emotions come alive, and reality no longer follows the rules. So tonight, don't think of sleep as the end of your day. Think of it as the beginning of your brain's greatest adventure. This is the hidden science of dreams. Right now, take a slow breath. Imagine yourself lying comfortably in bed. The room is quiet. The lights are off. Perhaps you can hear only the gentle hum of a fan, the distant sound of rain, or complete silence. You close your eyes. For a few moments, nothing seems to happen. But beneath the surface, your brain has already begun preparing for one of the most remarkable biological processes on Earth. Contrary to what many people believe, your brain does not simply switch off when you fall asleep. In fact, many regions of the brain remain incredibly active throughout the night. Some even become more active than they are during the day. The journey begins with your body's internal clock. Hidden deep inside the brain is a tiny group of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, often referred to as your biological clock. This remarkable structure constantly monitors light entering your eyes. As evening arrives and darkness fills your surroundings, it sends signals throughout your body that it's finally time to rest. In response, your brain tells the pineal gland to release a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin doesn't force you to sleep. Instead, it gently whispers to every cell in your body, "It's night now." Slowly, your body temperature begins to fall. Your heart beats a little more slowly. Your breathing becomes deeper and steadier. Your muscles relax. Even your eyes begin moving less frequently beneath your eyelids. Outside, nothing dramatic appears to be happening. Inside, millions of tiny changes are unfolding every second. Electrical activity across your brain begins to change. The fast, busy brain waves of wakefulness gradually slow down. Thoughts become less organized. Your awareness of the outside world slowly fades. The conversation inside your mind becomes quieter. You may notice random images, fragments of conversations, brief flashes of memories, or strange sensations that appear for only a second before disappearing. These are often the very first signs that your brain is crossing the invisible bridge between wakefulness and sleep. Scientists call this transition stage N1. It usually lasts only a few minutes, yet during this brief moment, your conscious mind slowly loosens its grip on reality. Many people experience the strange sensation of falling. Others suddenly jerk awake as if they missed a step. These movements, known as hypnic jerks, are completely normal. Even today, scientists continue studying exactly why they happen. Some believe they're simply the nervous system making its final adjustments before deeper sleep begins. Others think they may be an ancient survival reflex inherited from our distant ancestors. Whatever their origin, they're one more reminder that sleep is not a simple off switch. It's a carefully choreographed transition, one that your brain has been perfecting every night since before you were born. And as the outside world fades away, your brain quietly prepares to enter an entirely different reality. A reality where logic begins to loosen, memories awaken, and dreams slowly begin to take shape. As your conscious mind quietly fades away, your journey has only just begun. Sleep may seem like one long, peaceful state, but in reality, Your brain is about to travel through 4 completely different worlds. Each one has its own purpose, its own rhythm, its own remarkable activity. Throughout a typical night, your brain repeats this journey again and again, usually completing 4 to 6 full sleep cycles before morning. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, and every cycle helps restore a different part of your mind and body. Let's begin with the first destination. This is the lightest stage of sleep. It usually lasts only 1 to 5 minutes. Your body is no longer fully awake, but it isn't deeply asleep either. Scientists often describe this as the doorway between 2 worlds. Your brain waves begin slowing from fast beta waves into calmer alpha waves before gradually shifting towards slower theta waves. The outside world starts becoming distant. Sounds feel softer. Thoughts lose their structure. Random memories may briefly appear. A familiar face, a forgotten place, a sentence that makes no sense. Small flashes of imagination begin mixing with reality. Many people experience sudden muscle twitches during this stage. Some feel as though they're falling from a great height. Others believe someone called their name. These brief experiences are surprisingly common. Your brain is carefully disconnecting from the outside world while remaining alert enough to wake instantly if needed. But soon, it decides that it's finally safe to sleep more deeply. Without you noticing, your brain slips into stage N2. This stage occupies nearly half of your entire night's sleep. Although it appears peaceful from the outside, inside your skull, remarkable work is taking place. Your breathing becomes slower. Your heartbeat settles into a gentle rhythm. Body temperature drops slightly. Your muscles become even more relaxed. Meanwhile, scientists observe fascinating bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles. These tiny bursts may last only a second or two, yet researchers believe they play an important role in learning and memory. Alongside them appear sudden waves known as K-complexes. These unusual signals may help protect your sleep by filtering unimportant sounds while remaining sensitive to anything that could signal danger. Imagine your brain quietly sorting through everything that happened today. Important information is carefully organized. Less useful details begin fading away. It's almost as though millions of tiny librarians are working silently through the night, deciding which memories deserve a permanent place and which can safely disappear. As the cycle continues, your brain enters its deepest and most restorative state. Scientists call this N3, or slow-wave sleep. The electrical activity inside your brain becomes incredibly slow. Large, powerful delta waves spread across the brain like gentle ocean swells. This is the stage where your body performs much of its physical repair. Tiny injuries begin healing. Muscles recover. Bones strengthen. Cells replace themselves. Your immune system becomes more active. Growth hormone is released, helping repair tissues throughout the body. Even adults continue using this hormone every night to maintain healthy muscles, organs, and bones. Deep sleep is also when your brain carefully transfers many short-term memories into longer-term storage. Without enough deep sleep, learning becomes more difficult. Concentration suffers. Even simple decisions can feel surprisingly exhausting the next day. If someone tries waking you during this stage, they often feel confused, disoriented, perhaps unsure where they are for several moments. Their brain simply isn't ready to leave this deeply restorative state. But eventually, the slow waves begin fading. Something extraordinary is about to happen. Your eyes suddenly begin moving rapidly beneath your closed eyelids. Your breathing becomes less regular. Your heart rate changes. Brain activity rises dramatically. In fact, if scientists looked only at your brain waves, they might mistake you for someone who was fully awake. This remarkable stage is called REM, rapid eye movement sleep. Here, your brain becomes astonishingly active. The visual cortex lights up. Emotion centers become highly engaged. Memory networks begin communicating across distant parts of the brain. At the very same time, your body enters a temporary state called REM atonia. Almost every major muscle becomes temporarily relaxed. This natural safety mechanism prevents you from physically acting out your dreams. Without it, every dream could become real movement. Running, jumping, reaching, or speaking aloud. Instead, your body remains peacefully still while your mind explores worlds that exist only inside your brain. This is where most vivid dreams begin. The dreams you'll remember after waking. The impossible adventures. The strange conversations. The beautiful landscapes. The moments that feel completely real until you open your eyes. By morning, your brain will have repeated this incredible journey several times. Each cycle is slightly different. Early in the night, deep sleep dominates. Later, REM sleep becomes longer and more frequent. Your sleeping brain carefully balances restoration, memory, emotion, and dreaming throughout every hour of the night. It is one of biology's greatest masterpieces. And yet, the biggest mystery still remains. How can a sleeping brain create entire worlds that feel just as real as waking life? Your body is lying perfectly still. Your bedroom is silent. The outside world has almost disappeared. Yet inside your head, something extraordinary is happening. A universe has just come alive. You are no longer simply asleep. You are dreaming. Perhaps you're walking through a city you've never visited, speaking with someone you haven't seen in years, flying above mountains, or standing in a place that could never exist in reality. Everything feels completely natural. You rarely stop to question it. But how can a sleeping brain create an entire world that feels so real? To answer that question, we must travel deep inside the brain itself. During REM sleep, your brain becomes one of the most active organs in your entire body. While your muscles remain deeply relaxed, billions of neurons begin communicating at incredible speed. Different regions of the brain suddenly awaken, each performing a unique role in building the dream you experience. One of the first areas to become highly active is the visual cortex, located at the back of your brain. Normally, this region processes the information your eyes send from the outside world. But while you sleep, your eyes are closed. No landscapes, no faces, no colors, no moving objects are entering your brain. Instead, the visual cortex begins generating its own images. Mountains, cities, people. Entire worlds appear without a single ray of light entering your eyes. In many ways, your brain becomes its own movie studio. Except this movie is unlike anything Hollywood could ever create, because every scene is built instantly, using pieces of your own memories. Another important structure now joins the story. Deep within the brain lies a small curved region called the hippocampus. Think of it as one of the brain's great memory librarians. Every day, it helps organize new experiences, the conversations you had, the places you visited, the faces you noticed, even the book you're reading before bed. During sleep, the hippocampus begins replaying many of these memories. Not perfectly, not like watching a recording. Instead, it selects tiny fragments, mixing today's experiences with memories from months or even years ago. That is why someone from your childhood may suddenly appear inside your dream, standing inside your current workplace, while speaking with a friend you only met yesterday. To your dreaming brain, these combinations feel completely normal. Meanwhile, another powerful region becomes especially active, the amygdala, often called the brain's emotional center. This tiny structure helps process feelings such as happiness, fear, love, surprise, and anxiety. During REM sleep, the amygdala becomes far more active than it is during many waking moments. This helps explain why dreams often feel intensely emotional. You may wake feeling joyful, relieved, excited, or deeply unsettled, even when the dream itself made very little logical sense. Your emotions inside dreams are often genuine, even if the events themselves never happened. At the same time, something surprising happens elsewhere in the brain. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logical thinking, planning, decision-making, and critical judgment, becomes much less active. This may be one of the biggest reasons dreams feel so believable. Imagine dreaming that you're having dinner on the moon while talking to your childhood teacher, who suddenly transforms into a dolphin before everyone begins applauding. While you're dreaming, none of this seems unusual. Your logical brain, the part that normally says, "Wait, that's impossible," has become much quieter. Without its constant supervision, your imagination is free to build worlds without limits. Scientists sometimes describe dreaming as a remarkable collaboration. Memory provides the building blocks. Emotion gives those memories meaning. Imagination connects them together. And reduced logical thinking allows the impossible to feel perfectly ordinary. No single part of the brain creates a dream alone. Instead, billions of neurons work together, forming one of the most complex experiences known to science. Even today, researchers are still discovering new details about how this incredible process works. Perhaps you've experienced something else, a dream that felt so vivid, you were convinced it was real. You could smell the air, feel the warmth of sunlight, hear someone's voice, even experience physical sensations. This happens because many of the same sensory regions used while awake become active during REM sleep. To your brain, the dream isn't simply being imagined. For a brief moment, it is being experienced. The outside world disappears, while the inner world becomes your temporary reality. And then, without warning, you wake. Your bedroom slowly comes back into focus. The dream begins fading almost immediately. Within minutes, much of it may already be gone. Only small fragments remain. A familiar face, a strange place, a powerful feeling you can't quite explain. Why does this happen? Why can some dreams stay with us for years, while others disappear before we even leave the bed? And perhaps the greatest mystery of all, if dreams are so carefully created by the brain, the outside world disappears, while the inner world becomes your temporary reality. And then, without warning, you wake. Your bedroom slowly comes back into focus. The dream begins fading almost immediately. Within minutes, much of it may already be gone. Only small fragments remain. A familiar face, a strange place, a powerful feeling you can't quite explain. Why does this happen? Why can some dreams stay with us for years, while others disappear before we even leave the bed? And perhaps the greatest mystery of all, if dreams are so carefully created by the brain, why do we dream in the first place? For thousands of years, this simple question has fascinated philosophers, physicians, psychologists, and scientists alike. Ancient civilizations believed dreams were messages from the gods. Some cultures thought dreams revealed the future. Others believed the soul temporarily left the body during sleep, wandering through invisible worlds before returning at dawn. These ideas shaped human history for thousands of years. But modern neuroscience offers a different perspective. Not one built on myth, but on observation, on brain scans, on electrical activity, on decades of scientific research. And while scientists still don't have every answer, they've uncovered remarkable clues about why the dreaming brain may be one of evolution's greatest inventions. One leading theory suggests that dreams help strengthen memory. Throughout the day, your brain collects an astonishing amount of information. Every conversation, every face, every lesson, every mistake creates tiny patterns inside billions of neurons. If every experience were stored forever, your brain would quickly become overwhelmed. Instead, during sleep, those memories are quietly reviewed. Some are strengthened, others slowly fade away. Dreaming may be one way your brain rehearses the experiences that matter most. Researchers have observed that people who spend the day learning new skills often dream about those experiences later that night. A pianist may dream of playing music. A mountain climber may dream of climbing again. A student studying for an exam may dream about classrooms, books, or teachers. These dreams aren't random. They may represent the brain practicing, reorganizing, and strengthening important memories while the body rests. Dreams may also help your brain process emotions. Think about the happiest day you've ever experienced, or perhaps a moment that filled you with fear. Maybe it was your first day at school, the loss of someone you loved, a major success, or an unforgettable journey. Events like these leave more than memories. They leave emotions, powerful emotions. And unlike simple facts, emotions cannot always be organized while you're awake. During the day, your brain is constantly reacting to new situations. There is little time to pause and reflect. Sleep changes that. While you dream, the emotional centers of your brain become highly active. At the same time, stress-related chemicals become much quieter than they are during the day. Some neuroscientists believe this creates the perfect environment for the brain to revisit emotional experiences without making you relive them with the same intensity. It's almost as though your brain is saying, "Let's look at what happened, but this time from a safer distance." This may explain why difficult experiences often appear in dreams, sometimes days, weeks, or even years after they first occurred. The dream itself may seem strange. The people may be different. The location's unfamiliar. But the emotion, the fear, the joy, the sadness often remains exactly the same. Your brain isn't replaying reality. It's working through the feelings connected to it. Dreams may also be one of the greatest sources of creativity. History is filled with remarkable discoveries that were inspired by dreams. Scientists, artists, writers, and musicians have all described waking with ideas that seemed impossible the night before. Why? Because during dreaming, the brain is far less restricted by logic. Ideas that would never connect while you're awake suddenly become linked together. Different memories, different concepts, different experiences blend into something entirely new. Imagine millions of puzzle pieces scattered across a table. During the day, your brain carefully examines each one. But during dreams, it begins trying completely unexpected combinations. Most don't make sense. Some create bizarre stories. But every once in a while, those unusual connections become genuine inspiration. The solution to a difficult problem, a melody, a scientific insight, an idea that changes everything. Sometimes, the sleeping brain sees possibilities that the waking mind cannot. Of course, not every scientist agrees on exactly why we dream. Some researchers argue that dreams are simply a byproduct of normal brain activity. According to this idea, as memories are organized and emotions processed, the conscious mind naturally experiences these signals as dreams. Others believe dreams have a much deeper evolutionary purpose. Perhaps they allowed our ancestors to mentally rehearse dangerous situations, to practice escaping predators, solving problems, or preparing for challenges without facing real danger. Even today, there is no single theory that explains every dream. The human brain remains one of the greatest mysteries in science, and dreams may be its most fascinating language. But dreams are not always peaceful. Sometimes, the sleeping brain creates experiences so vivid, so frightening, that they wake us with a racing heart. Others find themselves unable to move, fully awake, yet trapped inside their own body for terrifying moments. These experiences have inspired ghost stories, supernatural legends, and ancient myths across countless cultures. Yet modern neuroscience has uncovered surprising explanations behind them. The line between dreams and reality is not always peaceful. Most nights, your brain creates stories that quietly fade away with the morning light. But sometimes, those stories become frightening. Your heart races. Your breathing becomes heavy. You try to run, but your legs refuse to move. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. Then suddenly, you wake. Your bedroom is exactly where it should be. Everything is normal. Yet your heart is pounding, as though the danger was real. Because to your brain, it was. Nightmares are far more than ordinary dreams. They are vivid, emotional experiences that often occur during REM sleep, when the brain's emotional centers are at their most active. Scientists have discovered that during these frightening dreams, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes intensely active. At the same time, the logical regions of the brain remain relatively quiet. Without logic to reassure you, every threat feels completely real. A shadow becomes a monster. A stranger becomes an enemy. A simple fall feels endless. Even after waking, the emotions can linger for minutes, sometimes even hours. But why would evolution allow such terrifying experiences? One fascinating theory suggests that nightmares may actually serve a purpose. Imagine your brain as a flight simulator. Pilots practice dangerous situations, not because they expect them to happen, but because preparation increases their chances of survival. Some researchers believe nightmares work in a similar way. They may allow the brain to rehearse fear, practice escape, and prepare emotional responses, all within the safety of sleep. Whether this theory is completely correct remains uncertain, but it offers an intriguing explanation for why frightening dreams appear in nearly every culture on Earth. Not all unusual dreams are frightening. Some are astonishing. Imagine standing inside a dream, when suddenly you realize, I'm dreaming. The mountains, the sky, the people around you, none of it is real. Yet instead of waking up, you remain inside the dream. This extraordinary experience is known as a lucid dream. For a brief time, your sleeping brain regains a level of self-awareness. Many lucid dreamers report being able to make choices. They decide where to walk, who to speak with. Sometimes, they even change the dream itself. They fly through the clouds, visit imaginary cities, or explore impossible worlds that exist only inside their own minds. Brain imaging studies suggest that during lucid dreaming, parts of the prefrontal cortex become more active than during ordinary dreams. The very region responsible for self-awareness, normally quiet during REM sleep, briefly awakens. It's as though two worlds overlap. You are asleep, yet partially awake at the same time. Then there is one of the strangest experiences of all, an experience so unsettling that for centuries, people believed it was caused by ghosts, demons, or supernatural visitors. It usually begins like this. Your eyes open. You can clearly see your bedroom, the furniture, the ceiling, the faint light coming through the window. Everything appears completely real. But when you try to move, nothing happens. Your arms refuse to respond. Your legs remain perfectly still. Even speaking feels impossible. You are awake, yet trapped inside your own body. This phenomenon is called sleep paralysis. Although deeply frightening, it is usually harmless. It occurs when your brain wakes before the natural muscle paralysis of REM sleep has completely disappeared. Your mind becomes conscious, but your body is still following the rules of dreaming. For a few seconds, or occasionally a few minutes, the two systems are out of sync. Many people experiencing sleep paralysis also report seeing mysterious figures standing nearby. A shadow in the corner, someone sitting on the bed, a presence that feels incredibly real. Modern neuroscience offers an explanation. Parts of the dreaming brain are still active. Fragments of dream imagery blend with the real bedroom around you. Your eyes are open. Reality is visible, but traces of the dream remain. The result is an experience unlike anything else in human consciousness. It feels completely real, because your brain is temporarily combining two different realities into one. Perhaps the most remarkable discovery is this: whether you're experiencing a beautiful dream, a terrifying nightmare, a lucid adventure, or a moment of sleep paralysis, your brain is never acting randomly. Every experience reflects the extraordinary complexity of billions of neurons working together. The sleeping brain is not silent. It is alive, creative, emotional, and endlessly mysterious. But even after decades of research, scientists are asking an even bigger question. What if one day we could actually see someone else's dreams? Could a machine watch the sleeping brain and recreate the images hidden inside the mind? It sounds like science fiction, yet that future may already be closer than we think. For most of human history, dreams disappeared the moment we opened our eyes. No one could see them. No one could record them. No one could prove what another person had truly experienced while sleeping. Dreams existed only as memories, fragile, personal, and often forgotten within minutes. But what if that were no longer true? What if one day, scientists could actually look inside a sleeping brain and reconstruct what someone was dreaming? Just a few decades ago, that idea belonged entirely to science fiction. Today, it has become one of the most exciting frontiers in modern neuroscience. Everything begins with a simple question. How does the brain represent what you see? Whether you're looking at a tree, a face, or the night sky, your brain converts light into electrical signals. Different groups of neurons respond to different shapes, colors, movements, and objects. Over time, scientists learned something remarkable. These patterns are surprisingly consistent. The same object often produces similar patterns of brain activity. That discovery raised an extraordinary possibility. If researchers could recognize those patterns, perhaps they could predict what a person was seeing, or even what they were imagining. To test this idea, volunteers entered large machines called functional MRI scanners. These scanners don't read thoughts directly. Instead, they measure tiny changes in blood flow throughout the brain. Whenever a region becomes more active, it requires more oxygen. The scanner detects these subtle changes, creating a detailed map of brain activity. First, participants remained awake. They looked at thousands of different images: animals, buildings, faces, letters, natural landscapes. Each image produced a unique pattern inside the visual cortex. Powerful computers carefully recorded every pattern. Slowly, a database began to grow. Then came the real experiment. Participants fell asleep inside the scanner. Whenever researchers detected signs of dreaming, they gently woke them. Immediately, they asked a simple question. What were you dreaming about? One person described a house. Another remembered seeing a dog. Someone else recalled walking through a crowded street. The researchers compared each description with the recorded brain activity. To their surprise, certain patterns matched surprisingly well. The computer wasn't reading dreams word for word. It wasn't watching a perfect movie. But it could often make educated predictions about the general content of the dream. Whether someone had dreamed about people, buildings, movement, or nature. For the first time in history, science had taken a tiny step toward observing the invisible world inside a sleeping mind. As artificial intelligence became more powerful, the possibilities expanded even further. Unlike traditional computer programs, AI can recognize incredibly complex patterns hidden inside enormous amounts of data. Researchers began training neural networks, feeding them thousands, sometimes millions, of examples. The AI slowly learned how specific brain activity corresponded to certain visual experiences. Eventually, the computer could generate blurry images based only on recorded brain signals. They weren't perfect. Faces appeared distorted. Objects looked incomplete. Colors blended together. Yet despite their imperfections, the resemblance was astonishing. The computer had never actually seen the dream. It had reconstructed its best estimate, using nothing more than electrical activity inside the brain. Imagine what this technology could mean in the future. Doctors may someday better understand recurring nightmares. Researchers could study disorders that affect dreaming. Scientists might learn how memories are organized, how emotions evolve during sleep, or why certain dreams remain unforgettable. Perhaps one day, people recovering from traumatic experiences could receive entirely new forms of therapy, guided by a deeper understanding of the dreaming brain. But with every scientific breakthrough, new questions emerge. If technology could someday recreate dreams, Who should be allowed to see them? Should dreams remain completely private? Could dream recordings ever become evidence? Could someone misuse such technology? Would our final private space, the silent world inside our sleeping mind, remain truly our own? For now, these questions belong more to ethics than engineering. Today's technology is still far from reading dreams like scenes from a movie. Scientists cannot simply place a scanner beside your bed, press a button, and watch your dreams unfold. The human brain is far too complex for that. Every dream is built from billions of neurons, countless memories, and deeply personal emotions. No machine fully understands that language. At least, not yet. Perhaps the most beautiful lesson isn't that science is beginning to decode dreams. It's that the more we discover, the more mysterious the brain becomes. Every answer uncovers new questions. Every breakthrough reminds us how extraordinary the human mind truly is. And somewhere, while millions of people sleep tonight, billions of dreaming brains are quietly creating worlds that no telescope can see, no camera can record, and no map can fully describe. Even after more than a century of scientific research, one extraordinary fact remains. No one, absolutely no one, can explain every dream. Scientists understand brainwaves. They understand neurons. They understand REM sleep. They can observe electrical activity with astonishing precision. But when it comes to one simple question, why does this specific dream happen to this specific person at this specific moment? The answer remains one of the greatest mysteries in neuroscience. Imagine two people sleeping side by side. Both enter REM sleep at exactly the same time. Both have healthy brains. Both are surrounded by the same quiet room. Yet inside their minds, two completely different universes are unfolding. One person dreams of standing on a peaceful beach beneath a glowing sunset. The other dreams of being chased through an endless forest. Why? What decides the story? What chooses the characters? Why does the brain select one memory instead of another? Scientists still don't know. Another mystery is something almost everyone has experienced. Sometimes, you dream about someone you haven't thought about in years. Perhaps an old school friend, a teacher, a neighbor from childhood, someone whose face had completely disappeared from your conscious memory. Then suddenly, they appear inside a dream, speaking to you, smiling, walking beside you, as though no time has passed. When you wake, you're left wondering, why that person? Modern neuroscience suggests that the brain stores an astonishing number of memories, far more than we consciously remember. A familiar voice, a forgotten street, the smell of a classroom, a face seen only once. These memories may remain quietly hidden for decades. Then, during dreaming, the brain unexpectedly reconnects those forgotten pieces. It's almost like opening an old photo album you didn't even know still existed. Then there is perhaps the strangest mystery of all: time. Inside a dream, hours may seem to pass. You travel, talk, eat, laugh, grow older, experience an entire adventure. Yet when you wake, only 10 minutes have gone by. How can the brain create experiences that feel so long inside such a short period of real time? Researchers still debate the answer. Some believe dreams unfold almost in real time. Others think the brain compresses vast experiences into only a few moments before waking. The truth remains uncertain. Time itself seems to behave differently inside the dreaming mind. Then there are dreams that seem almost impossible to explain. Dreams where people solve mathematical problems, compose beautiful music, create paintings, or imagine inventions that later become reality. History contains many remarkable stories. The chemist Auguste Kekulé famously described dreaming of a snake biting its own tail, an image that inspired his understanding of the ring-shaped structure of benzene. The inventor Elias Howe reportedly dreamed of warriors carrying spears with holes near their tips. an image that helped inspire the design of the modern sewing machine needle. Whether every historical account is perfectly accurate is still debated, but they reveal something fascinating. Sometimes, the sleeping brain discovers connections that the waking brain struggles to see. And then comes the biggest question of all. Why do some people remember nearly every dream, while others wake believing they never dreamed at all? The answer isn't simply that one person dreams more. Almost everyone dreams several times every night. The difference often lies in memory. Dreams are easiest to remember when we wake during or shortly after REM sleep. If sleep continues uninterrupted, those fragile dream memories often fade before reaching long-term storage. It's not that the dream never happened. It's simply that the brain quietly let it go. Even today, with powerful MRI scanners, artificial intelligence, and decades of neuroscience research, the human brain continues to surprise us. Every new discovery reveals another mystery waiting just beyond it. Perhaps that is what makes dreaming so extraordinary. It reminds us that even in an age of satellites, supercomputers, and artificial intelligence, the most mysterious universe we know still exists inside the human mind. Tonight, as millions of people close their eyes, countless invisible worlds will quietly come to life. Some will be beautiful, some confusing, some frightening. Most will disappear before sunrise. Yet every one of them will be created by the same remarkable organ, resting silently inside the human skull. And perhaps that is the greatest wonder of all. Not that we dream, but that our brains possess the incredible ability to imagine entire universes while we peacefully sleep. But perhaps the greatest mystery of dreaming isn't found inside a laboratory. It's found inside human history. Long before brain scanners, before neuroscience, before electricity, people all over the world were asking the very same question. What are dreams? Every civilization searched for an answer. And remarkably, almost every civilization believed dreams carried meaning, not because they understood the brain, but because dreams felt far too powerful to ignore. More than 4,000 years ago, in ancient Egypt, dreams were often considered sacred. People believed that while the body slept, the soul could receive messages from divine beings. Some temples were even built for a special purpose. People would travel long distances, sleep inside these sacred places, and hope for dreams that offered guidance. Priests carefully listened to these dreams, trying to interpret their hidden meaning. To them, dreams were not random stories. They were conversations. Thousands of kilometers away, in ancient Greece, philosophers debated a different possibility. Could dreams reveal truths hidden from the waking mind? The physician Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, suggested that dreams might reflect the condition of the human body. Centuries later, Aristotle proposed something surprisingly modern. He argued that dreams were not sent by gods at all. Instead, they were created by the human mind itself. More than 2,000 years ago, he was already moving toward an idea that modern neuroscience continues to explore today. Across Asia, dreams were viewed through yet another lens. In ancient China, some philosophers wondered whether dreams and reality were truly separate. One famous story tells of the philosopher Zhuangzhou. He dreamed he was a butterfly, flying freely through the air. When he awoke, he asked a question that still fascinates people today. Was I a man dreaming I was a butterfly? Or am I now a butterfly dreaming I am a man? Even today, that simple story reminds us how convincing dreams can feel. While dreaming, the impossible becomes ordinary. Reality itself seems to disappear. Indigenous cultures across the world also place deep importance on dreams. For many communities, dreams connected individuals with their ancestors, their traditions, or the natural world. Some believed important decisions should never be made without first listening to the wisdom found in dreams. Others saw dreams as opportunities for healing, reflection, or spiritual growth. Although these beliefs differed from modern science, they reveal something remarkable. Across continents, across languages, across thousands of years, human beings kept asking exactly the same questions we ask today. Modern neuroscience approaches dreams very differently. Instead of searching for supernatural messages, scientists search for measurable patterns, brain waves, neural activity, memory networks, chemical signals. Yet despite all our advanced technology, one fascinating truth remains. Dreams still carry meaning. Not necessarily because they predict the future or deliver messages from another world, but because they reflect the extraordinary inner world of the human mind. Every dream, whether joyful, confusing, or frightening, is built from pieces of your own experiences, your memories, your emotions, your imagination. No two people have lived exactly the same life. And because of that, no two dreaming minds are exactly alike. Perhaps this is why dreams continue to captivate us. Science explains how dreams happen. History reminds us why humans have always cared about them. Together, they tell a story far richer than either could tell alone. But another question now begins to emerge. If dreams are created from our memories, our emotions, and our imagination, is it ever possible to take control of them? Can someone remain asleep, fully aware, and consciously shape the dream itself? The answer may surprise you. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a mountain. A cool breeze brushes across your face. The stars stretch endlessly above you. Everything feels completely real. Then, a strange thought quietly enters your mind. This can't be real. You look around once more. The mountains, the sky, the silence, and suddenly, you realize something extraordinary. You're asleep. You're dreaming. Yet, you haven't woken up. For one astonishing moment, your conscious mind returns, while the dream continues around you. This rare phenomenon is known as lucid dreaming, and it remains one of the most fascinating experiences the human brain can create. Unlike an ordinary dream, a lucid dream gives you awareness. You know the world around you exists only inside your mind. Some people simply observe the dream. Others begin experimenting. They ask questions. They change direction. They decide to fly, walk through walls, visit places that could never exist on Earth, or meet people they've only imagined. To the sleeping brain, the impossible suddenly becomes possible. For centuries, stories of lucid dreaming were dismissed as myths. Many believed it was impossible to be asleep and aware at the same time. But modern science has shown otherwise. Researchers invited experienced lucid dreamers into sleep laboratories. Tiny sensors were attached to their heads, their eyes, their muscles. As they drifted into REM sleep, scientists carefully watched the monitors. Then something remarkable happened. The dreamers became lucid. Although their bodies remained asleep, they had agreed on a secret signal before the experiment. Inside the dream, they deliberately moved their eyes left, then right, then left again. Because eye muscles remain active during REM sleep, those movements appeared on the laboratory equipment. For the very first time, scientists had direct evidence that a dreaming person could become consciously aware without waking up. It was a breakthrough that transformed our understanding of consciousness itself. Brain scans revealed something equally surprising. During ordinary dreams, the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for reasoning, planning, and self-awareness, becomes relatively quiet. But during lucid dreams, parts of this region suddenly become active again. It's almost as though the waking mind briefly steps into the sleeping world. Two different states of consciousness existing together. Awake enough to think, asleep enough to keep dreaming. Very few experiences in human life are quite like it. Many people hope lucid dreaming means complete control. The reality is often more complicated. Some dreamers can influence small details. Others can transform entire dream landscapes. But many discover that dreams have a mind of their own. You may decide to fly, only to find yourself floating gently instead. You may try to visit a childhood home, yet arrive somewhere entirely unexpected. Even when awareness returns, the dreaming brain remains wonderfully unpredictable. Scientists continue exploring whether lucid dreaming could one day help people in remarkable ways. Some researchers believe it may help reduce recurring nightmares. Instead of feeling helpless, a lucid dreamer may recognize the nightmare, remain calm, and change its direction. Others are investigating whether lucid dreams can improve creativity, practice physical skills, or even support emotional healing. The research is still ongoing. Many questions remain unanswered, but every year, our understanding grows a little deeper. Perhaps the most fascinating discovery is this. Even while you believe you're making conscious decisions inside a dream, your brain is still creating the entire world around you. Every cloud, every voice, every landscape, every person you meet, all of it emerges from billions of neurons working together in perfect harmony. The dream feels limitless, yet every detail exists inside a brain weighing only about 1.5 kilograms. Few things reveal the extraordinary power of the human mind more clearly than that. But lucid dreams are only one small piece of a much larger mystery. Scientists have discovered another phenomenon, one that raises an even deeper question. Can the sleeping brain actually solve problems, create inventions, or discover ideas that completely escape us while we're awake? History suggests it already has. Perhaps the greatest power of dreams isn't simply that they entertain us while we sleep. It may be that, every once in a while, they change the course of history. Throughout human civilization, some of the world's most remarkable ideas have appeared, not in laboratories, not in classrooms, but in dreams. At first, that sounds almost impossible. How could a sleeping brain solve problems that seemed impossible while awake? The answer lies in the extraordinary way the dreaming brain processes information. During the day, your logical mind is constantly at work. It follows rules. It searches for evidence. It rejects ideas that don't make immediate sense. This is one of the greatest strengths of the waking brain, but it can also become a limitation. Sometimes, the solution to a difficult problem doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking differently. And that's exactly what dreaming allows. While you sleep, the brain becomes far more willing to connect ideas that would normally remain separate. Old memories meet new experiences. Random images merge with scientific knowledge. Emotions blend with imagination. Most of these unusual combinations disappear before morning, but occasionally, one survives. And that single idea can change everything. History offers several fascinating examples. One of the most famous comes from the German chemist August Kekulé. For years, he struggled to understand the structure of a molecule called benzene. Every scientific model he created seemed incomplete. Then one evening, as he drifted between wakefulness and sleep, he imagined a snake curling around and biting its own tail. The image seemed strange, almost meaningless. But when he woke, he suddenly realized what it represented. Instead of forming a straight chain, benzene could exist as a ring. That simple insight transformed organic chemistry forever. Whether every detail of the story unfolded exactly as later retold is still debated by historians. But the idea has become one of the most famous examples of creative inspiration emerging from a dream. Another remarkable story involves Elias Howe, the inventor of the modern sewing machine. For years, he faced one impossible problem. How could a machine pass threads smoothly through fabric? Traditional designs kept failing. According to later accounts, he dreamed of being surrounded by warriors carrying spears. Near the tip of each spear, he noticed a small hole. When he awoke, the image refused to leave his mind. Instead of placing the eye of the needle at the back, he moved it to the front. That single change became one of the key innovations behind the modern sewing machine. Again, historians debate how much of the story is literal, but it beautifully illustrates an important scientific idea. Sometimes, the brain continues solving problems, even while we sleep. Artists have reported similar experiences. Musicians have awakened with melodies they had never consciously composed. Writers have discovered entire stories waiting in their imagination after a vivid dream. Painters have found new colors, new shapes, new worlds hidden inside their sleeping minds. Even today, many creative people keep notebooks beside their beds. Not because they expect every dream to contain genius, but because occasionally, one unforgettable idea arrives before sunrise, and if it isn't written down quickly, it may disappear forever. Modern neuroscience offers an explanation. When you're awake, the brain carefully filters information. It decides what is logical, what is realistic, what should be ignored. During REM sleep, those filters become much weaker. Ideas that would never meet during the day suddenly collide. Most combinations are unusual. Some are completely absurd. But hidden among countless strange connections, the brain may accidentally discover something brilliant. Creativity, in many ways, is simply finding a connection that no one else has noticed before. Dreams provide billions of opportunities for those connections to appear. Of course, this doesn't mean every dream contains a hidden invention or predicts an important discovery. Most dreams remain deeply personal. Many are forgotten within minutes. Others are little more than fragments of memory woven into strange stories. But every dream reminds us of something extraordinary. Even while your body rests, your brain never stops exploring, never stops experimenting, never stops imagining. It continues building new pathways, testing impossible ideas, and searching for patterns hidden beneath everyday life. Perhaps that's why dreams continue to inspire scientists, artists, inventors, and philosophers alike, because they reveal something deeply human. The mind is never truly silent. Even in complete darkness, with your eyes closed, your brain remains one of the most creative systems ever known. Yet despite everything we've learned, one final mystery still remains. What does the future of dream science look like? Could technology one day allow us to communicate through dreams, treat disease, or understand consciousness itself? The answers may arrive sooner than we think. For thousands of years, dreams belonged only to the dreamer. They appeared silently, lived for only a few moments, and vanished before sunrise. No camera could capture them. No machine could preserve them. No scientist could fully explain them. But for the first time in human history, that may be beginning to change. Not because dreams themselves are changing, but because our technology is evolving faster than ever before. The question is no longer, can we study dreams? The question has become, how far can we go? Imagine a future where a person suffering from recurring nightmares visits a sleep clinic. Instead of simply describing the dream, doctors observe the brain's activity throughout the night. Artificial intelligence compares millions of neural patterns, identifying exactly when fear begins to build. Rather than treating only the symptoms, scientists may eventually understand the dream itself. This research is still in its early stages. But every year, our understanding grows a little deeper. Researchers are also exploring whether dreams could become powerful tools for mental health. Many emotional experiences remain unfinished. Grief, anxiety, trauma, stress. Even after years, the brain may continue processing these emotions during sleep. Some scientists believe that understanding dream activity more clearly could one day help improve treatments for conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder. Others hope dream research may reveal entirely new ways of supporting emotional recovery. The science is still developing, yet the possibilities are remarkable. Artificial intelligence may play an even greater role. Today's AI systems already recognize faces, translate languages, and generate realistic images from simple descriptions. One day, similar systems may help scientists recognize patterns hidden deep within brain activity. Not to invade someone's thoughts, but to understand how memories, emotions, and imagination interact during sleep. Imagine watching two brain scans that appear almost identical to the human eye. An AI system may notice tiny differences invisible to researchers, patterns so small they could reveal entirely new discoveries about consciousness itself. Another exciting field is known as brain-computer interfaces. These technologies create direct communication between the brain and electronic devices. Today, they already help some people with severe paralysis communicate using only their thoughts. As these systems improve, scientists hope to better understand how the brain creates internal experiences. Dreams may become one of the greatest frontiers for these technologies, not because machines will replace imagination, but because they may help us understand how imagination is created. Of course, every technological breakthrough brings important ethical questions. If future technology becomes capable of reconstructing dreams with greater accuracy, who owns those dreams? Would they remain private? Could they ever be shared? Should they be shared? Dreams are among the most personal experiences any human being can have. They contain memories, fears, hopes, and emotions that often remain hidden even from ourselves. Protecting that privacy will become just as important as understanding the science behind it. Perhaps the biggest lesson of modern neuroscience is one of humility. Every decade, scientists answer questions that once seemed impossible, yet every answer reveals 10 new mysteries waiting beyond it. The human brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each one connected to thousands of others. Together, they create every memory you've ever kept, every emotion you've ever felt, every dream you've ever experienced. Despite all our technology, we are only beginning to understand how this incredible network truly works. One day, future generations may look back at today's neuroscience, the same way we look back at ancient astronomy. The discoveries we celebrate today may become only the first small steps toward a much greater understanding. Perhaps our descendants will map dreams with extraordinary precision. Perhaps they will uncover entirely new states of consciousness. Or perhaps they will discover mysteries even stranger than dreams themselves. Until then, every night remains a journey into the unknown, a journey taken by every human being, regardless of age, language, or culture. Every time you fall asleep, your brain quietly begins one of the most extraordinary processes in the universe. And that simple act, one we repeat thousands of times throughout our lives, still holds countless secrets waiting to be discovered. But before our journey comes to an end, one final question remains. After everything science has learned, after centuries of research, and after billions of dreams dreamed by billions of people, perhaps after everything we've explored, one question still quietly remains. Why does any of this matter? Why should we care about dreams that disappear before breakfast? Why should scientists spend decades studying experiences that last only a few moments each night? The answer is surprisingly simple. Because when we study dreams, we are really studying ourselves. Every dream you've ever had, whether beautiful, confusing, or frightening, was created by the most extraordinary object known to science: your brain. An organ weighing only about 1.5 kilograms, floating silently inside your skull. Yet within that small space exists everything that makes you, you. Every memory you've ever treasured, every language you've learned, every face you've loved, every hope, every fear, every imagination, every idea. They all exist within this remarkable network of nearly 86 billion neurons. Throughout this documentary, we've watched your brain begin its nightly journey. We saw daylight slowly fade as your biological clock prepared your body for rest. We watched brain waves gently slow as consciousness drifted toward sleep. We entered the quiet workshops where memories were carefully organized. We witnessed deep sleep repairing the body, strengthening the immune system, and restoring the mind. Then, we stepped into REM sleep, a place where impossible worlds suddenly became real, where forgotten memories returned, where emotions found their voice, where imagination became limitless. We discovered that dreams are not random movies playing inside the mind. They are carefully built, using pieces of your own life. A childhood memory, a recent conversation, a hidden fear, an old photograph, a familiar smile. Your brain quietly gathers these fragments, then weaves them into stories that often make little logical sense, yet somehow feel deeply meaningful. In many ways, dreams are mirrors. Not mirrors that show your face, but mirrors that reflect your inner world. Science has explained many things. We know about REM sleep. We understand brain waves. We have identified memory networks. We have begun using artificial intelligence to recognize patterns hidden inside the dreaming brain. Yet, despite all these remarkable discoveries, one truth remains unchanged. No scientist can perfectly predict tonight's dream. No computer can fully recreate your imagination. No machine completely understands consciousness itself. The human mind remains one of the greatest mysteries in the known universe. Perhaps that mystery is something to celebrate. In an age where satellites map distant galaxies, where artificial intelligence solves complex problems, and where technology grows more powerful every year, there is comfort in knowing that some mysteries still remain. Every night, billions of people close their eyes. Without realizing it, each one begins a journey no telescope can observe, no camera can fully capture, and no map can completely describe. A journey through memory, emotion, creativity, and imagination. Think for a moment about how many nights you've already spent asleep. Since the day you were born, you have dreamed thousands upon thousands of dreams. Most have been forgotten forever. Some lasted only seconds. A few stayed with you for years. Perhaps there is one dream, even now, that you can still remember, not because every detail survived, but because of how it made you feel. That feeling may be the brain's most lasting gift. Tonight, when you prepare for sleep, remember that your body is not simply shutting down. It is beginning another incredible cycle of restoration. Your heart will slow. Your breathing will soften. Your muscles will relax. Your brain will quietly clean itself, strengthen memories, process emotions, and eventually create another world entirely your own. You may never remember it. Or perhaps, tomorrow morning, one small fragment will remain. A place you've never visited. A conversation that never happened. A feeling you cannot quite explain. And for a brief moment, you'll carry a tiny piece of your sleeping universe into the waking world. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson dreams have to offer. They remind us that even while we are completely still, our minds remain endlessly alive, still learning, still healing, still imagining, still creating. Long after the lights go out and the world grows quiet, the greatest adventure of the day has only just begun. Thank you for joining this journey through the sleeping brain. And now, as your own journey into sleep slowly begins, close your eyes, take one slow, gentle breath, and allow your remarkable mind to do what it has done every night of your life. Dream, sleep well.